And I said, because quite honestly, the youth can tell that be it the church with the white Jesus or the revolutionary group with the black one, neither one of them seem like they have the courage to stand up to white supremacy. And one of the issues of black children, and we saw it so clearly in Baltimore, Baltimore brought to the surface a lot of issues that we've been dealing with in the African world. Not only in America, but here. Not only here, but Toronto. Not only in Toronto, but in other places. And that is the growing divide between the youth, and I'm not even going to say elders, I'm going to say adults. There's a growing divide. Baltimore showed how willing the youth were to lay down their lives. Baltimore showed how willing the youth was to go to jail. Baltimore showed how impatient the youth were in their cry for justice. But there was a problem. In Baltimore, we also saw the adults, the 40-year-olds and the 50-year-olds, even some 30-year-olds, who told the youth to go home, don't riot, go on home, but didn't give them any solution. Go home because I have a job. Go home because I have a little piece of car. Go home because I can pay my mortgage. Go home because I have a little retirement check. And so the youth saw that the adults, being comfortable with their position under white supremacy, wasn't interested in leaving or contributing no effort whatsoever to help them push forth the agenda for their demands. Go home to what, the youth asks. Go home to what? Another Al Sharpton speech? Go home to what? Another Jesse Jackson march? Go home to what? Another Barack Obama change we can believe in? Go home to what? And so Baltimore, and we still dealing with it in Baltimore. I spent a lot of time there. The greatest black man to walk on American soil, Frederick Douglass, my ancestor, escaped from Baltimore, right down the road from Philadelphia. So we doing some things in Baltimore, but it highlighted the fact that the youth who don't know what we know in terms of consciousness, the youth who don't know what we know in terms of history, might be ignorant in some things, but they exceed us on one measure, and that is courage towards facing the power structure. Let's be honest, conscious community, we got some contradictions. One of our contradictions is most of us are part-time revolutionaries. We live white during the week, and we metamorphose into revolutionaries on the weekend. Let's be honest about that. Let's be honest that most of us are not self-employed. We work for the system. No shame in that, but if you're not trying to get free from the system, you're a sellout waiting to happen. We have contradictions. We have contradictions that despite all the knowledge and history of ourselves that we have, many of us who are the repositories of that knowledge have next to little courage when it comes to standing up to white folk for our babies. Contradictions. Question is, when do we begin to stretch out those contradictions, destroy them, and move on? I mean, let's be honest, except for the information, we pretty much stuck where we were in '65 when the black conscious movement started. We got to be honest about that. Sometimes we don't like to look in the mirror about where we are. This December in America, we'll be looking at 150 years since the end of the Civil War that brought about the 13th Amendment. 150 years it's been since the end of slavery. And when we look back at it, we ask ourselves, what do we have to show for that?
Nothing.
No banks.
Nothing.
Or we have some, but it's debated as to whether or not they're black in name or black in ownership. Supermarkets, ships, airline industries, distribution networks, the things that are required for any independent community to sustain itself, we lack. We got all the information. We got the dates and the facts and the he's and the she's. But we don't have any way to hire our own people. We don't have a way to take care of our elders. We barely have enough independent schools to educate our own children. which is another contradiction. As I travel the world, and many of you know I get asked to speak more than most people. When I travel the world, I notice the same situation with African people. I don't care where I'm at. Whether it's Montreal, whether it's Los Angeles, it could be Ghana, it could be Johannesburg, Jamaica, Bermuda, St. Croix, don't matter. I'm noticing that the education of our children is in the hands of our oppressor. So let me break this down from a psychological standpoint. Psychologically speaking, the best